Hi, Samara. Do you have a moment to talk?
Oh my God, what do you want? If it's about the in-laws, I don't really care what happens about them, so just do whatever you want.
I actually wanted to contact your husband as well. But I don't have his contact information, so I was hoping you could let him know about the news I have.
Connor's contact information? He's actually on a business trip overseas now, so there's really no point in trying to reach him now anyway.
Oh, he is?
Why didn't you ask your husband about contacting him though? They're brothers after all. Wouldn't that have been more easier? It's kinda lame having to talk to you when I don't even know you that well. Do you think we're buddies or something just because we both marriage into the same family?
I understand that you don't want to have to do anything with the in-laws or the people connected to them. I can see that from how you don't bother to visit us or our mother-in-law even once a year. I mean, Connor always comes alone on Christmas, even after marrying you. But I thought that this news would be worth letting you know about. So I contacted you even though I knew you don't like me that much.
So, what is it?
Well, me and Dan were thinking of living all together with Judy in her home. So in doing that, we were considering rebuilding the whole house. We are in the middle of discussing things with the contractors.
Living together with our mother-in-law? Why would you guys even think about doing that? Lol. Are you dumb, Megan? Lol. What's the good in doing that?
After our father-in-law passed away, Judy really started getting sick. I'd helped her for a while now around the house and going to the doctor and such. But we thought that things would be a lot easier if there was someone with her all the time. So Dan and I decided that we should live with her.
What? Even then you're talking about living with someone else's mom. But if you guys are willingly going to take full responsibility of her care, then I'll approve. It'll mean that I won't ever have to help out or anything, right? It shouldn't be any of my business to begin with anyway. Lol.
Yeah, I thought you would say something like that. Well, I thought that I should just let you guys know.
Hey, wait a minute. This is just to make sure, but you guys living together with her wouldn't increase the amount of inheritance you guys get, right? Because that would be pretty selfish.
Inheritance? Judy's still alive, you know?
Yeah, but inheritance is still an important subject of matter. Judy's rich because our dead father-in-law owned a business, remember? Plus, there are a ton of land they lease out. If the house is being rebuilt, it's going to be like new, right? Even after the reconstruction, she's still going to have heaps of money left. Like, I don't really want to have to do anything with the in-laws. But make sure everything is divided equally between what my co gets and what Dan gets, okay? It's only fair.
I don't think now's the right time to be talking about things like that. Plus, there's nothing you or can do about it considering we're not blood relatives to her.
OMG, did you just refuse what I just told you to do? If you guys are actually scheming to get more of the inheritance by moving in with Judy, then I'm against it.
Then, would you like to move in with her and take care of her instead?
No, why would you ask me that? That's ridiculous. I have my own life to live. Thank you very much. I'm a busy housewife and I have so much more important things to do. My time's too precious for that.
Well, someone still needs to be by her side and take care of her. I don't know what's going to happen with the inheritance. Not basically, I'm pretty sure that it'll be divided according to whatever she decides. If she has no plan, I guess we'll just leave it up to the law.
Whatever, just make sure that no disputes arise when it comes to dividing it after she's passed and gone. As long as it's done properly, I won't complain. Well, like I said, I'm a busy woman, so bye.
6 months later.
Dan, the contractors just told me that the construction is going according to plan. So it sounds like we could start living there next week if there's no problem with the final inspection.
Oh, that's sooner than I thought.
Yeah, I thought so too. You explained everything to your brother, right? About the house and other things.
Yeah, of course. Do you really think that I haven't done that by now? I told Connor ages ago about how we're rebuilding and everything else. Geez, why are you even asking me that?
Okay, just wanted to make sure. So I guess it's safe to say that Samara knows all about it too.
Anyway, do you have work on Friday afternoon?
I have work, but it's from home, so it'll be easy to adjust things if needed.
Can you please take Mom to the doctor?
But it was your turn that day, wasn't it?
Well, some unexpected work got in. It looks like I'll be a bit more busy from now on. So, you're going to have to take sole responsibility for mom's care. But that's okay, right? You only work from home after all. It'll easier for you.
Well, that might be true. But that doesn't mean I can tend to her 24/7. Dan, have you spoke to your mother lately? She says that she misses your company.
It's fine, she has you to talk to.
That's not the point.
Oh yeah, don't put in any plans next weekend.
What? Your mother is staying at the hospital over the next weekend for some medical tests, remember? I thought we already had plans of what we were going to do.
We're going to the hospital.
For your mother, right?
To take some tests for you.
Sorry, I don't understand what you're getting at. What tests? I already got my regular medical checkup just the other day, if that's what you mean.
You and I have been married for 5 years and we still don't even have a child. I think something's seriously wrong with you. So go take some tests. I already found a clinic for you to go to.
You want me to take those kinds of tests?
All my colleagues already have kids. And I don't think mom's got so much time ahead of her now. Mom's never had a grandchild before. I want her to be able to see her first grandchild before she goes to where Dad is.
I don't mind taking the tests. But if that's the case, shouldn't we both go and get tested together?
Why would I need to get tested for? Lol. I'm well and healthy. Lol. Clearly, there's nothing wrong with me.
We can't ascertain anything beforehand as to why there are difficulties in bearing a child. There could be a fault in the May body as well as in your body. Or there might not be any faults in both of our bodies. Or on the contrary, there might be faults in both our bodies. So, Dan, I think it would be better if you took the tests as well.
That's a waste of my time and money. Lol.
If we're going to look into this, then we should be thorough. Please, let's do it together. For me, I'll pay for the tests. If we're doing this for your mother, then we should go through with it.
Well, if you insist so much. You're paying the whole fee, right?
Yes.
Fine, I'll do it. It's a bummer, but I guess I have no choice but to cancel my plans to go out drinking with my friends for next weekend.
Drinking? You never told me about that.
Do I have to tell you?
Well, no, but we already had plans for the weekend. We were going to do a huge cleanup in your mother's room as well as the nursing bed and such while she's gone. We just spoke about this the other day.
But that's something that you can do on your own, right? I don't really need to be there.
You're gonna make me do it all on my own?
Okay, fine. I'll help you out. Jeez, quit nagging. But I'll go drinking today instead, so overreacting.
Alright.
6 months later.
Hi, Megan. Looks like the funeral is all over and done with. Lol. I think you realized, but I didn't go. Lol. But apparently, you guys ate some delicious food. Connor told me. I would have really appreciated it if you had ordered extra for me for takeaway, though.
Hi, Samara. We would have really appreciated it if you would have come or even helped out a little. It's been a big week for me. For the most part, I've finished cleaning up her stuff in the home. Tomorrow, I'll be sorting out all of her belongings. Just last week we were talking and laughing together. She seemed like she was getting well. Her passing was so sudden, I'm still struggling to find closure.
But you have more free time on your hands now that you don't have to nurse her anymore, right? Lol. You should be happy. Lol.
What on earth are you saying? Of course, I can't be happy. I was really close with Judy and she just passed away.
By the way, I want to talk about the inheritance. Has it already been divided? Do we already know who's getting what?
I thought so. I thought something was off when you were the one to contact me. Everyone knows you detest talking with the in-laws. Sometimes you don't even reply for days at end. But I guess this is the only thing that'll motivate you.
Whatever. So how much does my co get? It's a no-brainer for how things got divided. I'm actually really smart, you know. Since you guys already live there, you guys got all the land and the newly rebuilt house, didn't you? So then, I can expect that all the money is Connor's, right? You guys are so lucky. You know that, right? Lol. You got that huge house right after you guys rebuilt it, lol.
You are so heartless. You really think that's what's going through my head right now? Of course, I can't think of myself as lucky. All I can feel now is grief.
Well, news to you. I don't actually really care how you feel, lol. So, was I right? We got all the big bucks, right?
Couldn't you even consider asking that in person by coming by or while leaving some flowers on Judy's grave? It only takes about 30 minutes from your house to where she's buried.
No can do, Megan. Geez, how many times do I have to tell you before you get it through that thick head of yours? Are you really that dumb? I'm too busy and it's not worth my precious time. Plus, you know that I don't want to get involved with the in-laws. I hate getting out of my way to do something that's not even worth it. I'm smart like that, don't you see?
Wow, you're really something.
Stop wasting my time and hurry up and tell me what I'm asking you for.
Well, like you said, as we live here, we will continue to own the land and the house. All the money that was left in the deposits and savings bank account will be divided equally between Dan and Connor. The total comes out to around $30,000. So, that means that my husband and your husband will get around $15 each.
What? $15,000? That's it? You have got to be kidding me.
Well, our ex-parent-in-laws did have to frequently go to the hospital for tests and checkups in their last years. And they also had to stay over a lot of the time as well. So, there were a lot of medical expenses to go with that, so it's understandable.
This is unbelievable. Are you seriously telling me that you and Dan got $15,000 in cash? As well as the house and the land surrounding it? That's so unfair. Money shouldn't even have been divided.
This has already been discussed over with between Dan and Connor. Dan told me that he explained everything to him in detail.
That doesn't matter. I don't agree to this. Don't you freaking remember me telling you about this before?
I told you plain and clear that the only condition that I'll agree to you guys moving in with Judy is that the inheritance is divided equally.
You tricked us.
No, Samara. I told you at that time as well, didn't I? That the inheritance will be divided according to the law.
This is ridiculous. $15,000 isn't even more than Co's salary. If this is the case, then I'd rather have the house and the land.
There's nothing I can do about it even if you get angry at me. And Judy's inheritance can only be passed on to her actual children, Dan and Connor.
So, you're telling me that we don't have any say in this? Fine then. In that case, I have my own ideas in dealing with this catastrophe.
Your ideas?
This is definitely going to end with me getting more than you, Megan. Just wait and see, you stupid cow. Your dumb actions have left me with no choice.
Wait, Samara? What are you planning to do? This is in no way a competition. You know that, right?
Well, all I had to do was use my smart genes a little, Megan. We all know that the brothers were the only ones that got the inheritance, right? You guys made out way better than we did in this whole ordeal.
What are you on about?
Geez, do I really need to explain everything? You guys got the money plus the house. You said it yourself, only the children are eligible for inheritance, right? Right now, you are the one who's got the better deal because of your husband. Therefore, I'm going to take your husband. This is all because you couldn't do anything properly, Megan.
What the hell are you even talking about? You sound insane. Hey, reply to me, Samara. Hello, Samara.
3 months later.
Hey, Megan, I have to tell you something.
Can't it be after I get home? I'm at a business meeting at the office right now.
I don't think we'll be able to talk after you come home. So texting now is better.
What's wrong?
I left the divorce registration form on the table in the living room. I'm going to stay somewhere else near my workplace for tonight.
Hang on a minute. What? Divorce? Living somewhere else?
I want a divorce.
What are you saying?
My parents are both gone. And you finished sorting Mom's belongings and made sure that the inheritance got all sorted with, right? I just got a feeling you know, seeing you sort everything out and stuff, that I needed to start sorting out the things around me along with the people in them.
Are you saying that it's my fault that you feel that way because I sorted everything out? What? I only did all those things because no one else would.
See, this is what I hate about you.
What do you mean?
I want to start my life over by divorcing you and officially getting together with Samara.
Getting together? With Samara? What?
I've been going out with her for 3 months now.
But Samara is your brother's wife. Are you out of your mind?
Well, sure, she never really participated in family events and stuff like that. But since the first time I laid eyes on her, I always thought that she was kinda cute. I couldn't stop thinking about her since Connor introduced her to me. I mean, she did look really nice in her bridal dress when she was getting married.
Hang on, did you say you started seeing her 3 months ago? Wow, I never really thought that she would actually do something like this.
So, I'm going to get divorced with you to get Ray married with Samara. I'll give half of the $15,000 that Mom gave me as alimony. That's enough to shut you up, right? So hurry up and pack your bags and get ready to get out by the end of today.
This is too sudden. You can't do this to me. Your mom has literally just passed away. Her customized headstone just finished the other day and I finally cleaning everything out of the house.
That's why it's perfect for me and Samara to live together there now. And that's exactly why I told you about the divorce now. This was Samara's idea, you should learn more from her. She's smarter than you. I wanted everything old and insignificant to me to be gone from the house for my new way of life.
So, what you're saying is that you were cheating on me all this time, while making me take care of the aftermath of the funeral? And then, you decided to break the news that you want a divorce to get remarried with your brother's wife. After I took care of everything and it was all done and dusted. You told me that you couldn't help because of work. You are really unbelievable. Your mother would be so ashamed of you.
Ha, nothing bad's going to happen whether a dead person feels sad or not. Lol. Well, you like taking charge of things and you were good at it. So, you were pretty useful in that way. But at the end of the day, Megan, it's really about how your wife looks, you know? You look so old now and everybody knows it's way better to have a younger, bouncier wife. It's a part of a man's pride to be able to show off your wife to your colleagues. To top it off, Samara's pregnant with my child.
You got her pregnant?
Yeah, we're going to start a new family. So, it just makes sense that we live in my family home, right? We couldn't even make a child after 5 years together. But I was able to make one as soon as I started seeing her. So, it looks like you were the one with the problem after all. There's your evidence, ahaha. I knew it was you all this time. Looks like your brain, your face, and your body was dysfunctional.
Are you serious?
I always was the favorite child after all. So, I have responsibilities to make lots of children and pass on my genes. You get it, right?
That's the reason you're kicking me out and choosing to be with Samara because you impregnated her.
Yeah, you got it, lol. Well, if I was to add anything, Samara has way more better qualities than you. Lol. Yours was just being a good maid, but just not even attractive. Well, that's also just sign the divorce papers and just finish taking care of it, okay? Well, thanks for all the work you've done. Bye!
10 minutes later.
Well, looks like you got the memo, lol. So, looks like I won't ever have to get involved with you anymore. I took everything that belonged to you so you won't have to bother with them anymore, lol. Obviously, that estate belongs to us now, lol.
That estate is under my name. I own it.
Oh wow, are you for real? Geez, how stupid can you be, Lolo? Just to remind your tiny little brain, you were the one who said that the brothers were the only ones that could inherit something. And Dan was the one to inherit the whole property.
That was only about the inheritance. Dan and Connor were the only successors for that. And all I explained was that we weren't one of them.
What are you on about?
So, what I mean is that the house and the land are not part of the inheritance. If I recall, I've never mentioned that they were inherited in the first place. Although I did mention that we were going to continue to live on this land as well as in the house.
What? I only did all those things because no one else would. You are making no sense at all. How can that estate not be part of the inheritance?
Well, that's because our late mother-in-law put them under my name. This all happened while she was alive.
Wait, what? Why on earth would she do that?
Well, she decided to do so after John passed away. His sickness cost a lot in medical bills as well as hospitalization fees. After spending money on funeral expenses, there wasn't a lot of savings left.
What about her husband's inheritance though from after he died? He was rich because he owned a business, right?
By the time he was too impaired to work, business already almost bankrupt. It was barely keeping afloat and it was in a precarious day-to-day situation. He overworked too much and that's the main reason he fell sick. After he was hospitalized, we liquidated all his assets. I compensated for all the deficits so that he wasn't bankrupted anymore. And in the end, the business was closed.
I've never heard about that before.
John had a lot pride about H's reputation. So, he made everyone who knew about the truth promise that they wouldn't tell anyone. Which was only me, Dan and Judy. We were the only ones that he trusted to be loyal. Unfortunately, Connor wasn't told the truth because he was living with you and you were estranged from the family.
Dan said nothing about it to me. You're lying.
Well, I guess from Dan's perspective it wasn't a big deal to him. It was just something that was resolved without him bothering to help out with it. He has a bad habit of making other people take care of the things he doesn't care about. He doesn't even know the existence of the property tax for the house and the land.
Property tax. What's that?
It's tax that you have to pay for property. You have to pay it every year. It's pretty pricey considering how big the estate is. How Judy didn't have enough reserve left to continue paying it, and she didn't trust Dan to do it either. So, she changed the ownership to me and I took care of everything.
Why could she trust you but not Dan?
Well, Samara, just like I said now, his own mother knew that he hates having to take responsibility for things that he can't be bothered with. And this was obviously one of those things. Plus, I make more money than him and I'm more stable when it comes to spending.
You're lying.
Judy didn't want to waste all the effort she had been putting in to pay for the property tax ever since her husband died. And she also took into account how I was the only one to step in to compensate for the deficit in the business. She knew that she didn't have long to live, and she confided in me that I was the only person around her that she could truly trust to take responsibility. She had already decided to put the estate under my name months before her passing. And she was the one to come up with the idea of living together. That was, she wouldn't have to worry about giving me such a large amount of property, as I would already be used to the area and know how to take care of everything. She even accepted when I asked if it was okay to remodel the house a little to my style. Well, she actually encouraged me to rebuild the whole thing in the end.
So, you're seriously the official owner of the whole property? Were you the one who paid to get it built?
I didn't pay for all of it though.
Who paid for the rest of it then?
You didn't know this because you weren't really close with her, but Judy had a hobby of buying lottery tickets at the end of every year. Apparently, it's what she's continued doing ever since she got married. And she finally won on her last New Year's. A lottery ticket worth $20 million.
$20 million.
Thanks to that, Judy ended up paying for most of the reconstruction fee.
What the heck? That is so unfair. That means that you ended up with the property and an extra $20 million. You selfish cow.
It was Judy's free will to do whatever she wanted with her winnings before she passed away. Also, as I mentioned earlier, I had already helped out financially in the past to help the business and its bankruptcy. Even then, I refused her support, but apparently, she had always been finding a way to give back to me for also nursing her and making sure she got all the medical help she needed. She really appreciated that I always stayed by her side and gave her company. On top of that, she made sure that by using it all in the rebuilding of the house, that not a penny of the $20 million went to no one else. She was always skeptical of Dan and how he actually used his money on a daily basis. At the very least, she didn't want to leave a chance for you or Connor to get it as well. You never came to meet her, and Connor obeyed to do things the way you wanted.
That's insane. Wait, does this mean that the house you're living in now is worth more than $20 million? That's practically a mansion. That's way bigger than it was before.
Yes, that would be correct. Well, enough about this topic. How about we talk about me and you now, shall we?
What?
I'm going to get the divorce with Dan, and because the reason of the divorce is cheating, I'm going to see what legal action I can take against you since you broke up my marriage. Dan said something on the lines of paying for what you did with half the amount of his inherited $15,000, but unfortunately, that's not going to cut it.
Hang on a minute. I'm pregnant with his child right now. How cruel can you be? I'll need all the money I can get as well as a big comfortable mansion to support me.
Is that actually Dan's child? I'm pretty sure that it's impossible for Dan to have any children.
Of course, this is his child. What are you on about, stupid pig?
Didn't you think it was odd that we never had a child after around 5 years of marriage? We took some tests at the hospital last year. We went together, so there's no doubt about it. He assumes that he's perfect in every way, so he was really unwilling to go at first. And because of that, he didn't really care to see or listen to the results. Well, to be honest, I think he actually forgot that he even took that kind of test. He was mainly focusing on me getting tested.
Don't tell me. It came out that he was the reason you couldn't make kids?
Apparently, he's completely infertile.
That can't be true.
Oh, quit pretending, Samara. I have no problem at all sharing this information to Connor and Dan as well. They might react differently to you, especially when they know that you keep covering up for it when there's actual evidence.
No, wait a minute. Fine, I'll admit it. I played around a little while Connor was on his little business trip overseas. I mean, it's only fair, right?
He's always away from home with work, and he has all the chances. He wants to have an affair.
So yes, in other words, this isn't Dan's child.
I thought so. Well, you're going to be the one to do all the explaining to Dan and sorting things out. I don't want him back.
What? Why not?
Well, for starters, he doesn't lift a finger when it comes to the boring stuff like cleaning or helping out. And don't even think for a second that he would take responsibility for things that actually matter, even when it involves his own family. All he ever wants to do is sit back, relax, make the people around him do everything for him and take all the praise for it in the end. He even forgot all about the tests we took at the hospital when he was the one who hassled me about it. And he was the one who didn't bother to pass on word to his own brother about the change in ownership for the house and how it came to be. When I asked him about it, he lied to me saying that he did it. He even started getting a little angry at me for underestimating him for doing something so simple. I don't want to have to do anything with him anymore. I really regret not knowing how messed up and immature he was before getting married to him. Now, I finally get to live however I want.
Wait, that's too much for me. I can't deal with that. I'll give him back to you. We'll deal with this like adults. I'll try and make it work again with Connor, and you can do the same with Dan. See, that's the smart thing to do, isn't it? Then all of our problems will be solved, right? It'll just all go back to how it was. Fine, I'll even bring our late mother-in-law some flowers to her grave. That'll make you happy, right? I'll even start going to all the family events if you want me to.
Wow, you're really shocking. You say you're smart and everything, but you don't even seem to understand what the actual problem is. Looks like I'll have my lawyer sort out the rest from here. My time is too precious for something like this.
Lawyer? You're getting a lawyer involved.
I hope you have a nice chat with her about the charges I'll be pressing against you. Well, bye then. Oh, and if you're smart, you would know that my whole estate is off limits for you.
No, don't go. Don't say that, please. We're wife buddies, remember? Let's be friends. Pleasey, you're my one and only sister-in-law.
After that,
I divorced with Dan, and of course, Connor divorced with Samara. Dan and Samara ended up having to pay us for alienation of affection charges. As a result, they became penniless. Without getting their grubby hands in my land or my house, the two ended up living in a tiny apartment. They now both work while barely scraping by. Apparently, it's a life that they've never dreamed of.
thanks for subscribing.